power of dreams. I am the front man who drives. My power keeps me ahead in the front line. My reputation gets me on the front page. This is how I drive superiority. By being in the front row. New Honda Civic Turbo.
Hello and welcome to the final race of the Honda Racing Simulator Championship. We are here at the Autodrome of Portugal for the final race of the AM class, and later on we will have the finale of the Pro class, and both championships have the Drivers' Championship still open. So we've got to do a bit of maths today, got to work out who's going to be finishing on top, but that is really exciting as we come into this final race of the season. And this is brought to you by HM Engineering and Honda Prospect Motor, as has been the whole season, and it's been a great event so far. And obviously we've got about 1 hour of racing for you between the two classes as well. And what are these guys fighting for? Well, the AM class is fighting for 5 million rupiah for the winner. Then that goes down by 4 million, 3 million, 2 million, and then 1 million for fifth place in the championship. So that is a really nice prize. So thank you to the sponsors for that. But Felix, I think we'll take a look at the standings to see who we're looking at and who might be clinching the title here in Portugal.
Yeah, of course, it's gonna be a very close battle here between the top drivers in the Amateur Championship. Of course, first we're gonna race with the Amateurs Championship, and then later we're gonna race with the Pro Championship. Amateurs, of course, have a little bit of a shorter race, 20 minutes compared to the Pros, who have a 40-minute race. So let's quickly have a quick sneak peek at that championship standings. As you can see here, on the of course on the top on the right side you see the Amateur Championship, on the left side the Pro Championship. So for now just focus on the right side, and it is it's not quite as close in the Amateur Championship as it is in the Pro Championship. First place at the moment it is Rian Adisaputra, and tied for second place we've got Alfan Dani and Raditya Hendarma. So that's, I think, the positions that we're going to be focusing on here today. Those top three drivers, they can all three still win the championship technically, but of course Adisaputra is the favorite here today, isn't he, Cameron?
Certainly is. That is a nice gap that he's got at the top of the championship. So we'll have to see how that one works out for him. But simply put, if he has a good race today, he's going to win the championship. He needs to either DNF or have a big accident or something like that. And then if that does happen, then Dani and Hendarma are going to have such a good battle. So it's really nice that it's not just the championship that's still open, but also that top three. And we can't forget, obviously, that the prize money goes down to fifth place as well. So we'll try and keep an eye on Devani Grahan and maybe even Donda Kambe just in the back there as well. So yeah, very good battling that we're about to get going for the AM class.
Definitely qualifying is already underway, so the first drivers will be starting to set their lap times in just a second. So we'll quickly see if there's anybody already on the lap. Yes, there is already. So let's see what they will be doing here for lap times at Portugal.
Yeah, so first lap times haven't quite come in yet. A lot of guys towards the top of the standings are looking pretty close. Unsurprisingly, Adisaputra has got the purple sectors at the moment as they come into this final kind of chicane section. And this is who you are watching, your championship leader. As I mentioned, just pretty much has to do a good race today to get him a decent amount of points, and that will be enough. So let's see, as Hendarma, who's gone to the top already on a 137.7. where is Adesanya going to put himself quite a long run to the line here. It's way down the start-finish line, and he goes to first place on a 37.4, already a quarter of a second out front.
Indeed, we know these guys can be quite close to each other, but for now Adesanya is showing that he has got the pace and that he is the favorite here for today. Like you say, almost a quarter of a second or even over a quarter of a second quicker than Raditya Darmo at this point in the qualifying session. Of course, there is still 11 minutes to go. There's still plenty of time for drivers to find some more pace around this beautiful Portugal International track.
And it is a very special track indeed. It's changed quite a lot over the years, but it's still that old school European track, which is really good fun. And if you make a mistake, it is only grass or gravel. There is no tarmac runoffs here, so you'll be very much punished if you make a mistake, as we see Desio Ari coming through Sector 2 now, trying to work his way. See quite a bit of tyre smoke here, because there's a lot of corners here where you're trying to accelerate whilst turning, and obviously with this being a front-wheel drive Honda Sigma, as it goes a bit too much on the curb there, it's going to hit the wall, and that is going to be him probably abandoning that lap, because that is not going to be the quickest way through that corner.
And definitely isn't here on board with Katubi. You've seen him up and down the field a little bit throughout this season. Has had his good moments, has had his little bit bad moments. But let's see what he will be able to do here today. Currently 21st. Hasn't set a lap time yet, of course. So let's see what he will do in these last few corners. This very long right-hander. Difficult to understeer with these front-wheel driven cars. You can see him struggling to keep the car pointing in that right turn now on the back straight. Let's see what his lap time will be. It is going to be a 1:38.8, putting himself in P10 at the moment.
That is 1.3 seconds off the pole position. The time seems to be a little bit more spread out here compared to some of the other tracks so far. However, it is, despite being a short track, it is a tricky track. It's quite hard to get the car set up, and also with all these hairpins that you have to accelerate out of, that makes it even more difficult, as I already mentioned, with these front-wheel drive cars. But here is Jason Saputra, currently 4th place in the standings, so he is looking to get some decent prize money. And he's gone purple in that first sector, so he's looking very good indeed as he comes to the end of this back straight. It's sort of a double left-hander, 2 apexes, but you got to straighten the car up as much as possible to get the run here down into this long hairpin corner to finish Sector 2. And he actually gets the car rotated really well there, so he's going to carry some good speed then under the bridge. He's done a personal best in that middle sector as well, all over the curb, as quite a few drivers have been, getting those right-hand side wheels all in the air. And now over this final chicane curb, there's not much you can do that apart from try to get as close to flat out as possible. Get on the power as early as you can, and then work your way up to the line. And with it being such a long run to the line, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of slipstreaming or overtaking towards the line in the races. But for qualifying, where is he going to put himself? He's going to go into 4th place with a 37.8. As Shahab has gone to the top with a 37.3. Is Adesanya now? Can he get back on pole position? Yes, he can with a 0.1. So 3 purple sectors there, and he goes back 2/10 clear at the front.
Indeed. Once again, Adesanya putting in a great lap time, even though a few drivers have improved their previous time. Adesanya goes even quicker in his second attempt here in qualifying today, and again just roughly 2/10 quicker than the driver in second place, Alvi Shabab, at this point in time. Adrian Nugroho currently in the final sector. He's quite a bit off the pace though, hasn't set a lap time yet, so let's see what he will be able to do coming out of the final corner here. Across start finish he comes, and he will be doing a 1:41.2, so that's 20 first at the moment. Still about 4 seconds of the leaders in qualifying at the moment.
Quite interesting to see that that time spread, but I guess that is obviously what the championship is for, as Prasanta goes up into 13th place. But obviously there was a pre-qualifier which split the two classes of the Pro and the AM class, and obviously these guys are slightly slower in the pre-qualification, so maybe guys who are a little bit more new to the whole sim racing. And that's obviously what the whole point of the championship was with HM Engineering and Honda Prospect Motor, was to bring this championship to some of these Indonesian drivers who may not necessarily enter themselves in some very high level competition. But this has certainly been a good season so far, as we now see Devani Graha come round to start his next lap. And with 5 and a bit minutes to go, he might even get one more lap after this, but we will see what he does. Currently 5th place in that championship, so looking good to get 1 million rupiah if he can stay there after today's race. But missing that apex a little bit all over the curb. He's going to lose some time here down into turn 2, which is super quick, but instead he backs out and he will go again for another lap.
Let's have a look at Adesaputra then as he comes into turn 1. Also hard on the brakes, of course. There's a little bit of a bump coming into that first corner in the braking zone. It's easy to lose the car slightly if you just touch that bump in a incorrect way. These corners, long right-hander followed by a long left-hander in these front-wheel drive car. It's really difficult to get it pointed in the right direction and then get back on the power again. Of course, you're working almost front wheel both to turn and to accelerate. However, Adesaputra is 1/1000th of a second quicker in that first sector for now.
And look at that purple sector. How many purple sectors has he set already? Pretty much every lap he's been setting purples. He's just gone faster and faster. And with winning the previous 2 races, he's going to have loads of confidence as well as we come towards the final months of this championship and this final qualification. But he's gone a tiny bit slow in that middle sector, but it's only by 1/2 a tenth, so he's got a chance. However, he gets on that curb, he's going to lose a bit of time, but he does have enough time to do one more lap after this, so he shouldn't be too worried. However, he does have a bit of spin there, and that'll be him not going quicker, and nor is Shahab, who goes a bit slower there as well in 2nd place.
Adesaputra also going out for another attempt, just coming out of the pits there. A lot of drivers making a few mistakes in that final attempt there that they had. Eric Chandra coming across the line on P10 at the moment. Let's see where he puts himself. Not an improvement, so he'll stay in P10 at the moment. Yuda Prasanta is on a flying lap. He's looking to improve in the first sector. Let's see how the second sector will be for him. Looks quite controlled through here. Like we've said already a few times, it's difficult to get these cars turned. Prasanta doing a very controlled input with his steering wheel, trying to make sure those tires don't slide too much. Because you will lose the grip, of course, if you go over the limit of those tires. Second sector, not a improvement for him personally though. Perhaps he can gain some time in this final sector. Still a lot of inside curb there, a little bit too much, which throws the car out there. And that's surely going to lose him quite a lot of speed and time down this back straight to the start-finish line. Let's see what he will be able to do. Does not improve. It does improve, but it's not an improvement of his time actually, or his place, I should say.
Yeah, that final corner is going to be very interesting in the race. As you see, if you make a bit of a mistake there, you just get sent out wide, and then someone's going to, or maybe even 2 people are going to come up the inside. So I think that's going to be awesome. As we've seen the drivers work their way, such as Adesaputra, up to the final corner to start their final lap. And you can see he's trying to get a nice wide angle to get the best exit possible, the most speed down this start-finish straight. And that's very important considering how long the run to the line is. And now we're seeing him as he comes to start this final lap with only 1 minute 45 seconds to go. So you need to be starting, or you need to be leaving the pit lane right this second if you want to get another lap in, because this As always, you can finish your lap as long as you've started it within the allocated time. So let's see what Rian can do. Nicely over the curb in turn 2 there, but then this is one of the trickiest sections of corners, this double hairpin section through turn 3. Nice out there, then up into turn 4. But this one is more so important because it does have the back straight. Goes all over that curb. What is it going to be through sector 1? He's going to be purple, a 10th up. He's already 2 tenths ahead of everyone at the top of the field. Can he make an improvement in sector 2 as well? Breaks nice and late. Sliding the rears a little bit on the curb, but he manages to keep it in nice and tight. And out through the second apex. Up the hill again. Quite a lot of elevation changes on this particular circuit. Through this really long right-hander, medium speed. What's it going to be in that middle sector? Only down by a couple of thousandths of a second, so not too much either. This is looking like a good lap for Adesanya if he can nail this final sector, which he made a mistake in last time. Ball goes all over the curb. Can he keep it tight? Yes, he can. Try to keep here if he could go flat out quite early, which he does. Now he's going to the line for the final qualification lap of his season. Where is he going to improve and put himself? Can he go even further out front? Yes, he can. He does another 0.1, only slightly quicker, as Shahab stays in second place as well. So Adesanya, I believe, will be on the pole position. However, there are still a few drivers left, such as Hendamo comes to the line, improves into second place there, gets ahead of Shahab. That's good for him, considering he is ahead of Danny in the championship fight for that second place.
Yeah, that second place championship fight is going to be very tight indeed. They are tied at this point on points. Danny just in front on countback, I'm assuming, as Chandra comes across the line, and he will be finishing his qualifying in 9th. Nice final lap time there. Arya Senna is, I think, the last driver to who will be finishing his lap. Currently in 10th place, just on the end of the second sector there, start of the third sector.
I think we got Loho on a lap as well, right next to him in 11th place. So 2 guys should be coming to the line. Both of them are making improvements, trying to get themselves in the top 10. Senna there getting all sorts of crossed up. As Loho jumped up into 8th place in the background. But Senna, where is he going to put himself as he comes to the line? Just got to wait now, stay flat out. He's on personal improvements. Can he get into the top 10? Yes, he can. Jumps up into 6th place. Nice lap there by Senna.
Indeed, very nice lap. Last driver to finish his lap is Adrian Nugroho, and he will be marking the end of this qualifying session as he finishes in 20th place.
So as expected, Adesanya got the pole position. However, Hendamo only just behind him, half a tenth behind. So I think this has worked its way to be a really good finale to the season, and a nice battle it's going to be. But as always, the race is usually a little bit closer in terms of the pace, as it is. Obviously, we've got about 9 tenths of a second covering the top 10 here, but it's usually a little bit closer in the race as well. But I think, Felix, that this is going to be a really good potential to end the season on a good race.
Definitely, I think it's going to be a very interesting race. Shahab, of course, has been at the top of the field, at the lower part of the top of the field though, and now in 3rd. Perhaps he will be showing us some pace here in Portugal, and perhaps he can challenge even for 2nd or 1st place. That would, of course, throw some dirt into the fight of that championship battle between Adesanya, Danny, and Hendamo. We're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen there in the race.
Yeah, it's going to be very good, but we will take a quick message from our sponsor, and then we'll be back in a moment.
The power of dreams.
Welcome back to the finale of the Honda Racing Simulator Championship. This is round 6 from the Autodrome of Portugal, and we're about to have the amateur class race. So this is the second division, where they will be getting a 20-minute race in this Honda Civic front-wheel drive class car. And Felix, I think we're looking forward to a really good end to the season, but we need to see what the points are like and who has a chance of winning.
I mean, obviously the favorite, Rian Saputra. I think he'll be once again very strong here today, but it's always a 20-minute race still, so anything can happen. Alpha Danny and Armo, they will be fighting as hard as they possibly can to firstly beat themselves between, of course, the P2 for the championship, which they are tied for the moment, which we can also have a look at, of course. As you can see here on the right side of your screen, the amateur standings, you can see 76 points between Alpha and Danny and Radica and Darmo, both the same amount of points. So that is going to be very close between those two. And of course then Rian Adisaputra at the top can technically still lose his championship, but he will have to DNF pretty much to have that happen.
And we've seen quite a mixture of guys at the front of the field, which is why, just behind them as well, the points are fairly open as the prize money goes down to 5th place. So we need to watch out for Saputra and Devani Graha as well. So we'll do our best to keep up with all of that as we go through the 20-minute race. As we've seen during the previous 5 races this season, anything can happen in the ALM class. There's been massive crashes on lap 1. There's been some races where the cars have just sort of spread out. There's been races where there's been battling all the way through. So I think we're going to really see what these drivers can do, as it's the final race of the season. You might as well go for it. You might as well go for every single gap and see if you can get yourself potentially a trophy or even some prize money.
Indeed. Warm-up session is just underway, is just going to end in roughly 1.5 minutes time. So the drivers are right now getting themselves ready to get this race going. Of course, main overtaking spots here in Portugal, I'm guessing turn 1. Anywhere else, perhaps the back straight?
Yeah, I think turn 1 is probably the best because it's such a hard braking zone. It's effectively a hairpin because the exit of the corner really pinches you. It comes back on itself a little bit, so I think that's probably going to be one of the main overtaking opportunities. However, it's going to be so difficult to follow in the final corner because as we saw in the qualifying, it's so easy to make a mistake. It's going to be quite hard to stay there. However, the back straight is also another good opportunity, but don't rule out a few little dives into some of these hairpins either. So I think, yeah, especially the 2 straights, but also that sort of turn 3 and 4, the double hairpin section in sector 1, I think could be also a nice place for a bit of racing. And on that note as well, I hope in turn 1 everyone takes it nice and carefully, because we have seen a couple of lap 1 crashes so far, and it is a very long run from the start finish line all the way down to turn 1.
It definitely is. Of course, we've seen in the last 2 races a bit of chaos at the start here in the amateur series. Let's hope everybody gets through those first corners cleanly. I think turn 1 is going to be relatively okay. It's quite wide, but in those hairpins, we're going to have to be careful. The drivers are going to have to be careful to not cause an incident once again, as we've seen in the last 2 races here in the amateur series.
Yes, indeed. I think most of the drivers by now hopefully would have learnt the car and its limits on lap 1, and the way that we actually run the practice server during the week for these guys as well is that there are race sessions built in. So a number of drivers do end up doing, practice starts, practice race stints, and all this sort of thing. So hopefully after the 6th round we should get a nice lap 1, but who knows? We'll see what happens in a few moments time once they get out onto the track. Obviously they will have a formation lap first, so that's the time where the drivers have to calm themselves down, get the nerves out of the system as we build up to the final race of the season.
Indeed, and let's have a look at the starting grid here today then. Starting from pole position, Rian Adisaputra, championship leader, he is going to be my favorite here today. Radica Hendarmo, currently tied second in the championship. He's going to be starting from second place as well here. Alwi Shabab in third place. Alfan Danny, also second in the championship. He is currently in fourth place, so he's got some positions to make up to get back into that championship battle. Then Shakil is in fifth place. Arya Senna is in sixth. Audi Devon Graha in seventh place. Jason Saputra in eighth. Rio Low in ninth. And closing up the top 10 is Adi Satya.
Running through the second page, P11 downwards, we've got Eric Chandra sitting there in 11th place. Hopefully he can finish the season on a high, because he hasn't had potentially the season that he would have wanted to be in that number one car, the number one pre-qualifier. And then following behind him, we got Jody Pranata, Richard Matthew in 13th place, Mohamed Kartubi in 14th, UD Prasanta in 15th place, Enrico Chesa in 16th, Rio Ahmad in 17th place, Mohamed Ari in 18th place, Ignatius Makadompit in 19th place, Adrian Nukuro in 20th place. And then on the final page, we got 24 drivers for you today. We've got Colin Levy in 21st, Desio Ari in 22nd, Septian Suhuro in 23rd, and final person on the grid today is Christisian Julius.
So formation lap is well on the way now. Drivers are getting themselves ready to start this race. 20 minutes, of course, like we've said. Probably no pit stops. They are technically allowed to do them, but they're never gonna take any advantage by doing so. So everybody will be doing a single stint on tires, so from start to the finish on one set of tires and on one full fuel tank.
Yes, there's a straight sprint race to finish this Honda Racing Simulator Championship season. And once again, thanks to HM Engineering and Honda Prospect Motor for putting this season on, this championship on for these drivers. And now they line up for the final time for this race. Who's going to get the best start down into turn one? If you get a bad start, you are going to lose that drag race. It is such a long way down as we're getting the leaders now. Lining up for the final time. They will look up to the lights, and once everyone is in their place, we'll be going for the final race of this amateur championship season. As Pucha is obviously the main guy to look out for in the championship, but don't rule out Hendamo or Alfred Danny. So let's see how this goes as the lights are about to go out, and Adis Pucha gets away nicely. Can Hendamo challenge coming down into turn number one? It's going to be 3 wide, just behind them with Shahab, Danny and Shakil as well for that third place. Who's going to come out on top? Hendamo slides it down the inside, but not quite enough to take second place. Shahab comes out on top in third, but we're still side by side. Just behind them coming into turn number 2. Shakil has got himself potentially side by side with Danny, and I think he's going to get himself ahead coming into turn 4. So Danny back down into 5th place, and there's a few drivers further down battling as though lots of drivers going up and down on the standings, but it seems like everyone has got through fairly comfortably so far in this first sector, which is looking really good. But Adis Pucha is leading the way as we get towards this back straight.
Yeah, indeed, you saw in the background a slight incident in turn 3, I believe. One driver spun around, and he caused a few other drivers, of course, to having to slow down and drop some positions at the front. Though everything seems good and well, and once again a very good start for Alissa Putra.
That is exactly what he needs to do. As long as he is ahead of Hendamo and Danny, no matter what position they're in, that is absolutely fine for him as well, because he can't lose 20 points basically. So he's in a very comfortable position and leading the way nicely at the moment. But Shahab, who once again is looking really good, he was looking very good until he had some issues last race as well, so I think he could be one to look out for to get a win here. And he's already all over the back of Hendamo, getting that slipstream down into turn number 1. very long start-finish straight here. Nice bit of slipstream to be had, even in these Honda Civics. And now, on the outside, can he do it on the brakes? It is a little bit tricky because, as I said, it does pinch you on the exit. I think Hindama's going to defend that one for now, but it certainly looks like overtaking should be possible then to turn number 1.
Definitely, I think Rio Low is also attempting something. 3 wide now coming out of turn 2. That's going to be very tight, boys. Watch out. Also, Satya involved with that. Quite a few drivers in this little battle for basically 3rd place. It's a bit, third place. You could say that.
Yeah, these guys are getting very close to each other at the front of the field. Hasn't spread out too much. It's always good to see. I've noticed a couple of drivers already have got a couple of cut tracks, so they need to be careful not to do too many of that. So just check. Deto Ari's gone round again. He had a crash on the first lap and he's gone round again at the back of the field, so not the best way he's going to want to finish his season. The Shakil up into P4. And remember, he's looked good in a couple of races. He even won the 3rd race of the season as well in Silverstone. So he's certainly got some pace about him, but then he touches the wall on the outside of the kink as well. So I think he needs to make sure he doesn't do that again.
Definitely, as you can see, all the drivers are coming through the final couple of corners. Satya currently in 9th place. He was quite close to Ayasena in that middle sector, but he lost out quite a bit throughout this last few corners. Everybody lining up, and I don't think anybody is looking to do an overtake here on this start-finish straight this time around.
There's someone there towards the front had a big lock-up. It might be Shahab into turn 1, getting very close once again to Hendamo. Pushing quite a lot, and this was quite interesting because these cars do have ABS as well. But obviously if you go too far, then there's only so much that the ABS can help out with as well. So he's obviously trying really hard there into turn 1. As we're now here on the back of Devanu Graha, currently sitting there in 6th place at the moment, looking back towards Loho. These guys have obviously been at the front of races as well. Loho won the very first race of the season. Devanu Graha has been 2nd twice this season, so they're not, they're not unused to being at the front, and obviously fighting for those final couple of places in the championship as well. So final couple of places that offer points, I should say, in the championship as well. So hopefully they can work their way up. Oh, that's a bit wide. That's going to be into the wall there for Loho. Hopefully he doesn't get too much damage from that, but he's not the first driver to do that either. So that corner's looking a little bit tricky for these drivers.
It definitely has been quite close to the wall for a few, and also a bit too close for comfort as they actually hit the wall there. They have to be careful with that, of course. Damage is turned on. If you hit the wall too hard, well, you're gonna notice it down the straight probably.
And also potentially in the corners, if you get a bit of steering damage, that often doesn't help you at all. So that's what drivers want to avoid, especially on that corner. It's such a fast kink. Obviously using that layout of the track and not the...
Oh, contact between Adia Satya and Arya Sena. Sena pushed out wide there on the exit of turn 2, and also lost the position to Eric Chandra now.
Chandra getting himself up there into 9th place. And looking alright, his pace is actually pretty good. It's pretty much the same as the leaders at the moment. So Chandra might be one to make a few moves as we get further down this race. Now this is looking like a really tasty battle that is building up here for this final podium position. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys start battling, because if you remember, it's only a 20-minute race for these guys, so they don't have that long to make their overtakes. It's not like the pro class that they have time to sit behind and land their move. If they get the opportunity, they just need to go for it and take that. Can Chab stay close in this final corner? It's struggling quite a lot.
He is indeed, and I think he's a bit too far back from Andarma to really do anything here. Let's It's a very difficult final corner to set yourself up. You really need to hope for a mistake from the driver in front to be able to attack into turn 1 here.
It's interesting that I thought it'd be a bit easier to overtake into that turn number 1, but as we saw, Shab was a little bit far away coming out to that final corner.
In his first and middle sector though, he is very close to the back of Van Darmo.
He's getting close enough here. Does he want to risk a dive down into this corner at the end of the back straight turn 6? He's going to stay there for now. But it definitely looks like it's going to be possible. Just when they get that opportunity, they need to take it. At the moment, Hendarmo is doing a pretty good job there to hold on. As Adis Pucci isn't really getting away at the front. He does have the fastest lap of the race so far. However, he's not really pulling away, which is always good to see.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Dharma goes a little bit wide in that first part of the final corner. Shahab might be having an opportunity for an overtake here. Got very close, got a good exit out of that final corner here. Slipstream will be working wonders, but I think Hendarmo has got just a little bit less wing. However, is it going to be enough? Shahab looking to the outside, braking late. It's not late enough though, and Hendarmo stays in second for now.
Yeah, Hendarmo just pulled away a little bit on those first 100 meters coming out of the final corner, so always someone goes a little bit wide there in the background. That's Shaquille. So doesn't want to do that, but yeah, Hendarmo maybe has a couple of degrees less wing, because his top speed was looking a little bit better there. But Shahab, as you say, in this first and second sector does stay really close.
There's also still battling going on further down the field. Eric Chandra, Adias Satya, they've been close to each other. Place between these two guys. Satya, a bit of contact with Chandra there. Looked like Chandra maybe had a bit of a lag spike that dropped him back. Luckily nothing bad happened there, but Satya, he's putting on a whole load of pressure onto Eric Chandra for now.
Chandra's got another position there because he was down in 9th, so he's got himself up into 8th place. So Chandra making some moves, as we predicted. Once again, Shahab getting close, but he just gains a little bit too late on the straight. It is one of those corners where you sort of have to just choose a lap. No, you're just going to commit to that corner. Just use possibly too much of the tires, and just go absolutely 110% through the corner. But obviously that comes with a lot of risk. However, you do have to get every last car length that you can coming out of that corner. But Hendarmo is now back within a second of Addison Pucci, so they have caught him a little bit again. So it's always good to see it, but they're obviously pushing. They've dropped Shaquille just a little bit by a couple of seconds as well.
Yeah, we've seen this happen quite a few times where Shaquille showed the raw pace in qualifying and showed the pace in the first few laps of the race, but then later on started to drop back a little bit. Of course, he's been able to win one of the races, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, round 3, able to win that one, but that's his only really good result. The rest is all roughly top 10, just about.
I'm looking at the current championship, the live championship. We've got, unfortunately we can't show it to you. However, as it currently stands, with Danny down there in 5th place and Hendama obviously in 2nd, that means Hendama will be comfortably 2nd in the championship. So that is obviously good for him. And Adesputra will also be comfortably out in the lead as well. So this is looking good. Danny there does really need to get past Shaquille, to be honest, as he's getting very close now, but he does need to make some progress if he wants to get this 2nd place. And Shaquille's starting to lose time to that top 3, so Danny does need to try and get past as soon as he can, which he's possibly about to do on this back straight.
He is close to Shaquille. Danny is close to Shaquille. But he will need to be closer if he wants to overtake down this main straight. This final corner is going to be important as there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Only short-lived, so probably someone just went off track for a little bit. Danny now in the slipstream of Shaquille, but I think he's a bit too far back. He needs this position though, so he needs to get going if he wants to really stay in this championship fight.
Well, Shaquille there, it's really sliding into turn 1. But Danny, not enough just yet anyway. Yeah, they're really starting to lose time now. Really starting to lose time. 4 seconds behind Jadwal though. The gap does fluctuate a little bit between 3.5 and 4 seconds. Well, I think Danny might be getting a little bit impatient, but he certainly has the speed here, but Shaquille doing just enough to hold on.
Shahab is also still close to Ndarmo. But not really close enough to do anything as well. Shaquille doing a good job defending though. Danny really struggling to find the gap to get past him. It's close though on the exit of the final corner here. Surely this is going to be it for off and Danny. Needs to get some slipstream. Tries to go to the inside. Watch out, there's a pit wall there. He might have lost out a bit of time there because he had to avoid. On the inside, oh, late braking. Shaquille also late braking. Then he tries to go around the outside. Is that going to work? No, not really. Both of them run slightly off the track. Danny loses a bit of time because of that. Once again, he's gonna have to try again somewhere else. In the meantime, Eric Chandra and Rio Low have been battling. I think Chandra got past Rio Low into turn 1 there.
Chandra still making these moves. Sloho drops down into 8th place. So I have it as it currently stands that Shahab will be joint 5th with Jason Saputra as well. I'm not sure, I haven't quite looked at the count back as well, so it's getting very close on points. There's only 5 points currently between Devani Graha in 4th and Shaquille, which would be 7th in the championship, so it's very close. We'll try and keep you updated as we come towards already the final 3 and a bit minutes. But it is looking good for Adesputra to get 1st and Hendamo to get 2nd in the championship, just as the order they are on track. It's
There
getting
we go,
getting
Shahab.
close. Does he have enough? He's only got a couple of more laps left of the race. He's gone down the inside. Does he have enough on the brakes? He's a little bit too far behind, I think. As long as Hendamo makes the corner, which he does. So Shahab not able to make a move. He's been there pretty much the whole race. In fact, these three have. As Danny's trying to get by Shaquille once again. Coming through turn 1. There's a bit of dust that one of them kicked up as well. Shaquille goes a bit wide. Can Danny send it down the inside? No, Shaquille blocks him off nicely there into turn 3. Potentially a bit of contact there maybe. Coming through turn 3. Now into turn 4. Danny's really starting to get a little bit impatient. As obviously Devani Graha is coming up behind him as well. So he needs to be careful.
Yeah, they've dropped almost 9 seconds now from Ali Shahab. And surely their pace, or at least the pace of Van Den and Van Graha, is quite a bit quicker than what Shaquille's able to do at the moment. But they just can't get past him.
Yeah, Shaquille's really dropped off the pace. But he's got just enough so far to hold on. As they've only got a lap or 2 left. They're going to have 2 laps to go in this race. As Adis Putra will be coming around the final corner. Though Adis Putra's gone wide. Adis Putra's gone wide there for the lead of the race. He might even drop it here down into 3rd place. Hendamo goes to the top. And Shahab takes 2nd place. That is potentially quite big for the lower parts of the top 5 in the championship as well. But Adis Putra's made a mistake there. He's dropped down into 3rd place with only 1 lap to go. I believe this will be the final lap of the race. As they will cross it with just not enough time. And now Shahab finally has got his chance up the inside of Hendamo. Can he keep it into turn number 2? Hendamo's going to be just ahead, but he dives it down the inside. And he takes the lead. Shahab takes the lead on the final lap of the race. As Adis Putra sits behind him now for 3rd.
What a change of events here. Adis Putra somehow making a mistake in that final corner. Not sure exactly what happened, but that's allowed Shahab and Hendamo to get up into 1st and 2nd, and Shahab then took the opportunity as well to make the move into turn 1. And surely Shahab is going to run away with it now, as this is the last lap. They won't be able to cross the line in time to do another one before the timer runs out.
Yeah, I think they're going to be within a second or so. As we'll try and get the championship for you as soon as possible. But it's looking like Shahab is going to take the victory. So he will get the 25 points out of nowhere. Earlier on we did say that he was potentially a dark horse for this race. Adis Putra looks coming into this sector 3 for the final time. And with only 15 seconds left, it looks like the time is just going to run out. So this should be the final lap of the race. Shahab will take his first victory of the season. And he is potentially going to jump up to get some prize money as well. As he comes around the final corner, what a race that has been. Goes to 0. This is the final lap of the race. Shahab takes victory in the final race of the AM class season. Hendamo holds on for 2nd place just about. Putra will win the championship, but he gets 3rd place on the day. Shaquille, does he hold on for 4th place? Is the next big question, because he was so close to Alpha Danny there. I believe Shaquille holds on into 4th place. Danny in 5th. Devani Graha in 6th place. Chandra gets a good result there in 7th. Satya in 9th. Satya in 8th. Loho in 9th. Senna is in 10th. Renata will get 11th. Prasanta will get 12th. Matthew in 13th. Kartubi in 14th. And Levy getting the final point. But I do believe that will be Adis Putra taking championship victory here from Hendamo in 2nd place with 96 points. Danny will be in 3rd with 87. Shahab in 4th with 62. And 5th place will be Devani Graha with 57. So unfortunately, Shaquille just missed out on that top 5 as well as Putra. But Shahab jumped from 9th in the championship up to 4th with that amazing victory here.
Definitely a great result by Shahab, and amazing to see, or surprising to see, a mistake there from Adis Putra.
Yeah, unsure, but maybe he just clunked the curb a little bit too much. However, 3rd place is still a very, very good result. In the grand scheme of things, you saw just how competitive this race was and how any of those top 3 could have won it. And all it needed was someone to make a mistake, and it was Adespucha starting the final lap who gave that one away. Or at least gave the race victory away. Fortunately for him, he had a nice enough championship lead that he's still going to win by, I believe, 15 points. So yeah, still fairly comfortable for him. And winning those 3 races this season. He won round 2, 4, and 5. So very good indeed. Alphen Daniel will be disappointed with the way that his race went. But when you get stuck behind someone like Shaquille, it is, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. And we're going to see if we can potentially get a word with any of the drivers here from the AM class, and there is your results on screen, or at least for the podium of this race.
Yeah. So indeed, great result by Shahab. Hendarmo second in the championship. He will then also be taking second place, and we're gonna try and get an interview with the top 3 drivers of this championship. Now, of course, Adespucha is the main winner here today. Even though he's only in 3rd of the race, he is in 1st of the championship.
We'll see if any of them come along for an interview. But Felix, that was a very, very nice season of AM class racing, and they're getting some nice prizes. Just to run you through it, so the winner of the amateur class will be getting 5 million rupiah. Then that goes down to 4 million, 3 million, 2, and 1 for the top 5 as well. Obviously, the top 3 will get a nice trophy as well, which was made by HM Engineering as well. So nice hand-picked trophy there. But here is confirmation of the results on screen. And we actually do have Adespucha here for an interview. So we'll jump across with him.
That's
Well, sir.
Hello, Rian Adespucha. You are
Hello.
AM class champion. How does that feel?
I feel very happy for this championship.
You did give away the race win. Did you just make a mistake there in the final
Of
sector?
course. I have a massive understeer in the last corner, and yeah, I must give the position because I cannot defend my position while I have an understeer like that.
Was that just because of a mistake, or did you have issues with the tires?
It's a mistake. I shift to 4th gear, and I think that the tire cannot.
Well, congratulations anyway, and well done for winning the AM class. And obviously, you get the trophy and 5 million rupiah. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Good job this season, winning 3 races. So very good job.
Yeah, thank you for HM Engineering and of course for Honda for organizing this event. It's very intense for me, of course.
Well, you're welcome, and yeah, good job, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you.
Radita Hendarmo. So congratulations, you've got 2nd place in the AM class. How was that for you today? Almost got the race victory, but not quite enough, but still good enough for 2nd place in the championship.
Yeah, so coming into the first few rounds of the championship, I didn't expect that I would obviously get 2nd place. But as it got further and further and I understood the car more, got better finishes. And unfortunately, on the 5th race, Alfandani didn't have a great finish, which allowed us to tie the points. So this race was really the battle of who comes out ahead of each other for 2nd place. And it was really intense. There was a lot of hard work that's going through this from the both of us, great healthy rivalry. But in the end, I came out on top for this, and I feel really great. But good competition from Alfandani, and I appreciate that.
Well, you certainly did a very good job. You almost got the victory today, but you couldn't quite hold on. Did you feel the pressure from Shahab there?
To be honest, I saw Rian's understeer, and I kind of was like, wait, and I kind of got confused, and I actually missed the breaking point on turn 1, and I went wide there. And by turn 2, it was side by side, and the field of view for these cars are very small for me. So I saw him come through really quick. So I had to let that go too, because I didn't want an incident in the last lap. Because it didn't matter if I had the race victory there. I just had to finish in front of Alfandani.
Well, you certainly did a good job. So congratulations. You will obviously be getting 4 million rupiah. So very nice prize to go away with, as well as the trophy. So yeah, good job this
Yes,
season.
definitely. Thank you.
Now, Alfandani. So congratulations. You got 3rd place in this season. However, you did have a little bit of a struggle today in Portugal. So how was that for you? How was that race?
Really struggling behind Ilham Karim there, and I'm really trying very hard to overtake, but his defensive line is really great. And I just want to say congratulations, Radit. That was a really well-deserved win. Pretty much that's it. Me and Radit actually practicing together a lot these last weeks. We practicing battle together, two of us, for a couple of times, and still Radit come up on top. So yeah, that was well deserved for him too.
Well, you still had a very positive season. Got a couple of second places in round 2 and round 3. So yeah, congratulations this season. Obviously, you go away with the 3 million rupiah as well and the trophy. So yeah, good job this season, and hopefully see you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, so that wraps up the interviews for the AM class, and we will now jump over to the Pro class, where they'll be going out for qualifying in a few moments' time. But for now, take a few messages from our sponsors, and then we'll be back in a couple of moments.
The power of dreams.
You're looking for a diamond in the rough, and I could be quite tough.
Honda Civic Hatchback RS. Sexiness intensified. Experience RS. A pleasure in every drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back to the finale of the Honda Racing Simulator Championship. We're here for round number 6 at the Autodrome of Portugal. We just had the amateur class where we rounded up that series and who was going to be getting the prizes there. However, it is still open in the pro class as well. So we've got a championship fight coming for you. After the qualifying session, we will have a 40-minute race to see who will come out on top. It will either be Maulana or Zizwayo, but we will find out how that's been. But Felix, this has been such a good season so far with these drivers in the pro class, and I'm quite excited to see how they're going to do here in Portugal.
Of course, it's going to be a very close fight here between these top 3 drivers. Of course, we've seen the top 3 drivers, Rama Maulana, Jaka Zizwayo and Ferris Stanley, be very close to each other throughout the entire season. And I'm sure that they will be close again here in Portugal. Here you can see the championship standings, Cameron. And Maulana is currently leading, but only by 11 points. Anything can still happen today, can't it?
Yeah, obviously we've seen Maulana, Zizwayo and Stanley be on the podium every single race so far, just in a slightly different order in round 2. So that is why it's stayed all the points have stayed pretty much at the top of the championship. But yeah, these guys are so close. 11 points means obviously it is very much in the favour of Maulana. However, if he finishes 4th, then that's when it starts to get a little bit interesting, and Rakhmat has been certainly very good. As you see there, he's been in that 4th position for the last 4 races as well. So it's generally been some of the same guys at the top. Also, Ardianza in the previous race as well has been 5th in the last 3 races. So it's been quite an interesting season that there's been the same guys at the top. However, anything can happen, as we have mentioned, and in a 40-minute race as well. We might see some people going for a little bit more risky overtakes, considering it is the final race of the season.
Definitely. And qualifying is underway now, and the first drivers have already set their first and second sector times now, and it is going to be very close at the top, isn't it? Ardianza on his first lap, coming into the 3rd sector now.
And he is already in 1st position because he set the fastest time in the practice session, and no one has set a lap yet in the qualifying session, so that standing order stays. But can he continue that pace? Can he get pole position today? As I said, he's been 5th the last 3 races, but what about this final race of the season? He goes up to the top on a 37.0. However, Zizwayo already into the 36s with a 0.9, and then Maulana with a 36.7. So the times came in there thick and fast, but is Maulana leading the way by just over 1/10 of a second from Zizwayo, and then less than 1/10 of a second back to Ardianza, so very close at that front already. Ferris Stanley's first lap is 1.2 seconds off the pace, so he'll want to improve. Certainly if he wants to keep his streak of podiums alive, as Rakhmat goes up into 3rd place on a 37.0 as well. So yeah, the top 4 very close, all within a 1/4 of a second of each other. Very tight at the front here, but we did really expect that, to be honest, as it has been so close all season.
Steven coming across the line to finish his first attempt. Will be putting himself in 6th place for now.
And these times are already a bit quicker than what we saw in the AM classes, as is expected, with these guys being obviously in the pro class, they pre-qualified a bit higher. As we've got Proboa now coming up to sector 2. He's not improving that 2nd sector compared to himself, but he's also about 2.5 seconds off the pace as well, because that's little time in the bottom right is actually compared to the leader. The colour is to himself, so I don't think this is going to be the fastest lap time we've ever seen from Cabral, but he might be able to improve his time. And what is he going to do as he comes to the line? He's going to set a 40.3 and stay in 15th place. Malana, our championship leading driver, coming up to see if he can get pole position. He and Jadwal have often traded the pole positions this season. Or as he's really locked the rears there, coming through turn number 1. Trying to get obviously the cleanest lap possible. That's obviously the way to do it, although he's got a load of opposite lock coming through turn number 2 as well. Currently leading by 0.185 seconds, which is actually quite a lot. Some of the pole positions so far have been separated by thousandths of a second, especially in the last 2 races in Zandvoort and Sao Paulo. That was a alright first sector, and the time reflects that as well, going purple, but I do believe there might be a tiny bit of time there as well, if he can smoothen up the driving, as he now comes back of sector 2. He wasn't even turning left into that corner. Such is the way of him using the rear to rotate. Now it comes to the end of sector 2. Another sort of long hairpin style corner before we get to the sector 2 marker. He's lost that 10th that he gained in the first sector, so he might be on the edge of improving his time, and going wide there isn't going to help that, and he does abandon that lap. But Jadwal is on a lap. He is in sector 3, as well as Ferris Stanley. Stanley would definitely want to improve, currently down in 8th position so far. We did see last race him struggling a bit, had to come through a few drivers as well. Jadwal improves but stays in 2nd place. Stanley, what is he going to do when he gets to the line? He is going to jump up into 5th place.
Lily Ahmed also on a personal improvement in the first sector. 2nd sector also personal improvement. Let's see what he can do in this final sector. Coming through the final few corners now. There's tire smoke coming out of the tires coming out of the final corner there. Across the line he comes, and it is not going to be an improvement for his position, and he's going to have to try again with just under 7 minutes to go in this qualifying session.
Already halfway through, as we see Taruda now down in 19th place. He's currently 5th in the standings, so he'll want to improve from that position. This is now working his way up towards the line. 6.5 minutes to go. He'll certainly want to improve from that, because if he stays at that top 5 in the championship, he will get some nice prize money as he jumps up into 6th place there. Arden's now dropped down into 4th place, but he's very close to improving in this lap. Slightly quicker in that middle sector. Can he do it in the 3rd sector and jump up onto the podium? No, he's going to stay there in 4th place, but he does improve his time.
Andika Rama Malana on another purple 1st sector.
He certainly had the time left in it, as we were on board with that lap time of his. And there was certainly a little bit of time left on the table, but he will get at least one more go after this one as well, so we might have a chance to go even quicker. So he's lost a little bit in the second sector, but he is still gaining overall. Decent final sector there. Steering wheel moves a lot in this car, keeping it nice and tight. Now he's coming towards the line. Can he keep that improvement in that final sector? Is he going to make an improvement? Yes, he does. A 36.6. Massive improvement in that final sector. And he is now over a quarter of a second out in lead of Yakas as well.
Fair Stanley. Also looking to improve on his lap time. Through the final corner he comes. Bit of tire smoke, keeping it nicely on the inside curb. Out of the final corner. And across the line he comes. It is going to be P5, still improvement in time, but doesn't improve enough to get up to P4 or even further up the field. And Stanley lacking a bit of pace here today.
Yeah, just a little bit. Obviously 5th place is not bad, but it's not where he would want to put himself. As Ardians are now starting, will probably be his final lap, because I'm not sure he'll have enough time for another one if he completes this. A bit wobbly through that first sector, or first corner I mean. Now into turn number 2, using all the curbs, both on the inside and the outside, before slowing it all the way down into turn number 3. Needs to improve. It only needs to improve by 0.02 of a second to jump up into second place as well. Such is the close lap times between Siswo, Rakmat and Andianza in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. But he's lost a little bit of time in that first sector, 1.5 tenths down on Milana, and yellow meaning he's down on himself as well. Now back up the hill on this second half of the lap. Looking fairly nice so far. Taruna jumps up into 6th place in the meantime. Now the answer coming through sector 2. A little bit down again in that middle sector. He needs to have a very good final sector if he's going to make an improvement, because the times are just so close. Oh, touch the scope a little bit too much there, hops the car over it. Now keeping it tight in the final corner. And then flat out to the line. Quite a long run, it's about 7 or 8 seconds before you even get to the line. And is he going to improve? No, he's not. Stays in 4th place, but he might just have enough time to get out if he leaves straight away.
Idiot coming out of the final, or into the final sector. Last few corners for him. He's looking to improve quite a bit, I think, here in these last few moments of qualifying as he comes out of the final corner. First 2 sectors were personal improvements. Now let's see what he does in this final sector. Long straight, long run to the line. And up to P9 he goes. Good improvement there by Hidayat.
And there's only 1 minute 10 seconds to go now. So not too long for these drivers to set their times as Rakmat improves in that middle sector. He's quite a bit down on Maulana's time. However, he is obviously improving on himself, but he slides the rear in there. That is not going to be the fastest way to get around that corner. But he does have a little bit of time to play with, considering he was up already on himself. Now out through the sector 2 beams. What is he going to do? He's going to go a little bit slower once again. And he's going to need also a good final sector if he wants to improve. Uses every centimetre of that curb on the inside there. And keeping it nice and tight before getting it flat out. Has he done enough to improve his time? We've got Siswoyo also on a lap. We'll try and let you know what he's doing as well. So Rakabat first, where does he go? Does he improve? No, he stays in 3rd place for now. And Suzwo doesn't improve, so Suzwo stays in 2nd place as well. So they're finished. So Maulana has got pole position here. He doesn't need to improve on this lap, but I don't know if he knows that. However, maybe he wants to improve himself and show that he's probably been the fastest this season overall.
Yeah, of course, there's still some other drivers on a lap still, but they most likely won't be suddenly gaining that much time that they can qualify in front of Andikarama Maulana. However, he is going to go for an improvement, at least in the first sector, for now.
God, yeah, he's improving once again. Maulana really has been the best guy to master this car. He says, well, he's not been too far behind. He's gone purple again in this middle sector. This is going to be a huge lap from Maulana. Nice and stable through the fast right-hander there as well. To the final chicane. Lost possibly a little bit of time on the exit. Went a bit wide. But this is a good final corner as well. Can he improve his time and get even further out in front? He doesn't need to. Everyone else has finished their laps. Is he going to improve out in front? Can he get towards a low 36? So it goes to a 36.6. Lost a bit of time in that final sector, but enough to improve. And he gets pole position by almost 0.3 of a second. That is quite something. However, Rakamat was not too far behind as well. Ardianza getting 4th place and Stanley in 5th. Taruna in 6th place. So it's the usual names at the front, but in a slightly different order to usual. And that has set us up for a very good final race of the season here in Portugal.
Indeed, confirmation here on your screen. Andikarama Maulana, best lap time 136.633, 2.73 tenths of a second quicker than Jaka Siswoyo, who will be starting from 2nd place. 3rd is not going to be Ferris Stanley for once here, but it's Fadili Rahmat. And then Dafadi Ansa in 4th, Stanley in 5th, Arwin Taruna in 6th, Timo Iskandar in 7th, Ataya Kenzie in 8th, Tubargus Vardahan in 9th, and closing off the top 10, it is Delia Nur Hiriat. Championship fight between Maulana and Siswoyo. For now, it is really going Maulana's way once again, isn't it, Cameron?
Yeah, he has really been the strongest guy this season. As we've mentioned, he's won 4 out of the 5 races so far. And the previous, 4 of the previous 3 races have had the podium, with Maulana winning, Siswoyo 2nd, and Stanley in 4th place. It's only been round 2 in Malaysia where it was a slightly different order. But yeah, that sets us up for a really good time. So we'll take a couple of messages from our sponsors. Then we'll be back to discuss you through the exact points and who are the players in this championship fight.
The power of dreams.
I am the front man who drives. My power keeps me ahead in the front line. My reputation gets me on the front page. This is how I drive superiority. By being in the front row. New Honda Civic Turbo.
And we're here for the final race of the Honda Racing Simulator Championship. This is round number 6 and the Pro Class here at Portugal International. And we're about to have a 40-minute Pro Class race to finish off the season. And it's been a very good season of racing. We've had some of the best Indonesian sim racers that there are. And it has certainly proved to be a very good championship. And they are fighting for a very good prize of 20 million rupiah for the class winner, then 10 million for second, 8 for third, 6.5 million in fourth place, and 5.5 million in fifth place, along with the trophies for the top three as well. So very nice prizes. So thanks to Honda Prospect Motor and HM Engineering for organising this event. And we are here to run you through the final race of the season. But Felix, there's still some championship places up for grabs, and I'm sure some drivers want to get their hands on some of that prize money.
Definitely, let's have a quick look once again at that driver standings. Of course, Andika Maulana leading the championship with 116 points after he won 4 out of the 5 races that we've done so far. Yakasiswoyo behind that with 11 points. He's won a single race and finished second in all of the other races behind Andika Maulana. Let's see if that's going to change today. I'm not sure. After qualifying, Maulana is looking to be very strong here once again. And then Ferris Stanley, he is quite a bit further down, and he's also not in the championship fight anymore, at least not for the win of the championship. Technically, he can still get second place from Yakasiswoyo, and Fadili Lachwa behind that is a bit too far back to really do anything in this championship fight, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a championship fight. Yeah, can't really get involved. However, that fight for 5th place is very important because 6th place doesn't get any prize money. So Kenzie is obviously someone to look out for, potentially getting ahead of Taruna as well. Even Iskander has an outside chance of getting in front of Taruna as well. But we will keep up to date with the points as best we can, as we did in the race earlier as well. We will try and keep you up to date with everyone that is moving about and seeing where they are on track as well. Yeah, we are getting very close now to the final race of the season. And it's been such a good season, especially in this pro category. The level has been quite incredible. We knew that, especially the top guys like Maulana, Susboyo, Stanley, they've raced in some of the best R-Factor 2 championships that there are. But this has been quite something, and the level has been quite a bit higher than I think most people expected.
Indeed, it is. We've talked about it as well a little bit already in the amateur race. Main overtaking spot is turn 1. We haven't really seen anybody in the amateur class try it anywhere else, did we?
No, we didn't, but do lose quite a bit of time, so obviously just something that you have to balance out with how you want to do your race.
Yeah, and of course this race is a bit longer, 40 minutes instead of the 20 minutes that we had in the amateur class, so I think this is going to be a very interesting race. Once again, tire wear will be quite high in these long right and left-hander corners here in Portugal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult. I wouldn't be surprised actually if the tire drop-off is quite a bit higher than in previous tracks. So even if they don't make a pit stop, they might still be very slow, or certain drivers might be very slow at the end of the race, which could affect maybe even their championship if they lose positions. As we saw in the AM class, even the leader of Addis Pucci, he made a mistake on that final lap and he actually dropped down into 3rd place. So that would be very crucial in some of these championship positions, to drop down a couple of positions on the final lap. So yeah, even if we're not necessarily expecting them to make a pit stop, keeping the tyres alive is still probably the goal for all of these drivers.
Indeed, we're just waiting for the last 3 drivers to get back into the server. And then we're gonna get racing for 40 minutes here for the final race of this Honda Racing Simulator Championship. The big finale. So make sure you are ready at home as well. Make sure to perhaps grab yourself a bit of coffee, some popcorn to go. And then we're gonna get racing.
I think I'm expecting us to see a similar race to what we've seen a couple of times, where maybe Suzuki and Maulana sort of follow each other for the first half of the race, and then they see what they can do. I don't know if they're going to be fighting from the get-go, although Suzuki does need to win the race pretty much, because we know Maulana on the average day is going to be getting probably a podium. So we know Suzuki needs to win the race as a minimum. He does need to gain 12 points. So really, Maulana needs to be fifth because of countback as well. So Suzuki basically needs to win with Maulana being fifth. So still a little bit tricky, but we know Suzuki's got to go for it. So he might as well go for every gap that he can. But it is a 40-minute race, and therefore, yeah, everything can happen.
Indeed, it can. So once again, we're just waiting a little bit longer as there's a driver that needs to rejoin the server with some technical issues. So just bear with us. That's of course part of the online experience. Sometimes some issues occur. Of course, it's always going to be difficult with people from all across the country. In this case, of course, Indonesia. Things can happen with internet. Things can happen with the computer. So we're just waiting for somebody to rejoin the server, and then we're gonna get going.
But that's obviously parts of sim racing, as you say. We're racing with hardware, software, internet, all these sort of things add their own little issues and potential problems. But obviously, yeah, that's what happens. However, it's been certainly a very, very good season. It's been thoroughly enjoyable, and only a couple of drivers have had issues here and there. So it's actually, gone pretty well. Obviously, this Honda Civic car has been very good as well. It's given us some very close racing. A bit different as well, having the front wheel drive, and I think it's actually worked out as a really good race car.
It definitely has been. We've seen some great races. Instantly, what pops to my head, of course, is the race. I believe it was amateur race, but the race that in Matsusaka, where we had somebody overtake on the final lap in the final corner, which was an amazing race to watch.
Well, yeah, if we get an overtake on the final lap, and especially an overtake that changes something in the championship, that would be very exciting. So, yeah, that would be great to see. Well, it is a 40-minute race, and we have seen a couple of times that drivers obviously are a little bit, because it's a longer race, then it is a little bit more relaxed, let's say, in the race, because obviously drivers don't need to push every last tenth of a second, because they do have a bit of time to play with. But as we mentioned, the tyres do drop off quite a bit, even as much as 3 seconds a lap by the end of the race. So you do have quite a bit less grip, and that makes it even harder. So let's hope that it all goes well for these drivers and they give us a good show. That's especially for the top guys. We don't see too many technical issues. Yes, so we've got 22 drivers on the field today, and here is your top 10 for the final race of the Honda Racing Simulator Championship. We've got Andika Rama Maulana on pole position by almost 0.3 of a second, but then it's so close behind him. We have Suzuki Rakmat and Ardianza rounding out the top 4, but the times between them are so close, just a blink of an eye between all 3 of them. Then Ferris Stanley down in 5th place. He needs to improve if he wants to keep his podium streak going. However, he is fairly comfortable in 3rd place in the championship. Arwin Taruna there in 6th place. He'll want to keep his 5th place in the championship. Then we've got Timo Iskander in 7th place. Ataya Kenzie, he is in 6th place in the championship. He gets 6 points ahead of Taruna. He can get himself some prize money as well, so look out for him. And then Tabugas Farhan in 9th and Radiat in 10th place. So look out for those car colours to look out for your favourite driver as we get towards the final race. But obviously, still have 2 more pages to go.
Indeed, Rinaldi Edo starting from 11th place. Ezra Arik in 12th. Nicolaus Steven 13th. Reza Haryanto in 14th. And Mohammed Faiz Rayan in 15th. That's where the final point is going to be paid out. So that position is also, of course, going to be somewhat important. 16th then, Mohamed Andri. 17th, Michael Christian. 18th, Iko Ahmad. 19th, Mohamed Fikriaska. And 20th is Paryuja Prabowo is in 20th. And then the last few drivers on the grid today are Richa Indira and Edo Setcho.
And the drivers now are pulling away for their final formation lap of the Honda Racing Simulator Championship, brought to you by Honda Prospect Motor and HM Engineering. And obviously these guys, I've mentioned, are fighting for a really nice prize pool with 20 million rupiah going to the winner. Will it be Siswo? Will it be Maulana? They are lined up next to each other. Going to see how that works out as we get towards the end of this formation lap and they start their final lap, but it's certainly going to be close between them.
It definitely is. All the drivers now on this formation lap once again getting themselves ready, getting the brakes ready, and getting the tires up to the temperature that they want it to be. Mainly those brakes. If they are too cold coming into turn 1, and it is quite a hard braking zone, of course, you're a bit slower than you would normally be because you've just started, but still you want those brakes to actually bite when you press on the brake pedal, so you need to warm them up, as you can see these drivers doing hard braking in the braking zones here on this formation lap, just to get some temperature into those brakes.
And the brakes are very important. Obviously the run down into turn number 1 is quite long, so you will have a decent amount of speed as you hit the brake pedal. And we've lost Michael Christian on the formation lap, unfortunately, so he'll be missing out of the final race. He was, at the start of the season anyway, he was Mr. P16. He was P16 I think 3 races in a row, so missing out on those points. As Felix mentioned, points go to 15th place. But unfortunately, I think Michael will be missing the final race. I don't think he'll be able to get in. So now Maulana and Siswo are lining up for the final time this season. And then once they all are, the lights will go out and we'll be racing for the final time this season. Now, final drivers there, lining up. Here with those Honda Civics, and you see the gap there where Michael Christian should have been. Now the lights will come on, and we will get going for the final time this season, round number 6. Who is going to be the champion, Maulana or Siswo? And then who will get the final points? We are about to find out here in Portugal as the 5 red lights come on, and we are going for racing now as Siswo gets a decent start. Might be challenging down into turn number 1 actually. Maulana had a bit of a slow getaway coming into 2nd and 3rd gear. Siswo can't get quite alongside, so it'll be Maulana leading the way down into turn 1 as we have Siswo getting They're in second place. Ragmat and Ardians are going side by side into turn number 3. Ardians is going to push Ragmat a little bit wide there. Stanley's trying to get involved as well with Arwin Taruna here in second place. Always a bit of contact there. Ragmat goes around, a bit of contact as Taruna's getting caught up there. A bit of contact as well in the background. So Ferris Stanley already up into 4th place. It's Kenzie gets up into 7th alongside Farhan. There's now Iskander fighting with Taruna as they go off. So Taruna's gone off once again. And Kenzie's going to fight for fighting him coming down the back straight. Remember, Kenzie and Taruna fighting for 5th place. Those final prize points in the championship standings as well. So that is an important battle. But it's Taruna who holds on for the moment, as it seems like the rest have got fairly comfortably. But there was certainly some banging and barging back there in the midfield.
Yeah, there was some incidents also. Fadili Rahmat was the one that got turned around in turn 3 there at the start of the race. He's dropped down to 7th place now, and indeed we saw also a bit of an incident further to the back. But now Siswoyo and Maulana, they've already got about a second gap to Dafan Dianza, and Ferris Stanley, he's starting to make his way up already into 4th place now.
Yeah, Stanley took advantage of that, and that's quite good for him because last race he got stuck and he had to make some moves. He was just too far behind the leaders at the end of the race. Now he can probably fight from there. And one of the big battles that has come from this lap 1 is Taruna and Kenzie here down into turn 1. I think this is going to go on all race long. However, I don't believe in the positions they are in they will have enough to swap positions even if Kenzie gets ahead, because Kenzie does need to gain, I believe, 6 points on Taruna, but at least Kenzie has the opportunity being so close. But Rakamat as well will be disappointed to drop down to 7th place, so he'll want to come through. So loads of action here to come as we've only completed 1.5 laps so far. It is a 40-minute race for these guys.
Stanley's caught up to the back of Adianza. Pressure is on for Adianza now, and Stanley surely will be trying to get past Adianza as quickly as possible. He wants to avoid getting stuck behind him and losing the connection to Siswoyo and Maulana in front of him.
Yeah, Stanley's getting very close. Adianza, I believe it was 5th place. Yeah, 5th place. That is his best position so far this season. And he's gone a little bit wide there. That could give Stanley a bit of a run down the start finish straight. But yeah, 5th place. So getting on the podium would be an amazing result for him. But Stanley, we know, is so quick. He will be getting that slipstream down towards turn number 1. But it doesn't look like he's gaining too much just yet. He's going to have to do it all on the brakes if he's feeling brave enough. And he's sort of looking down the inside. Both of them get a bit of a lock-up. Ardianza goes too wide. So this is going to give Stanley the opportunity into turn number 2. Will he have enough this car alongside? No, he won't. Stanley will have to back out of that one. But yeah, Ardianza looking like he's dropping off Siswoyo just a little bit so far as he's focusing on Ferris Stanley.
Battle here all the way pretty much for P6. Kenzie, Rahmat, all the way down to Nicholas Steven in 10th, and maybe also Faiz Rayan in 11th behind that. Bit of a train forming here between these 5-6 drivers.
Yeah, look at that battle. That's going to be amazing to see these guys over the next 3 laps, all getting all over the back of each other. And it's good to see that they're not spreading out too far just yet. Yeah, they're looking very close. But if you look, Taruna in 5th place. He's already dropped off quite a bit from Stanley, so that top 4 is really starting to pull away at the front. And Ferris Stanley last lap actually had the purple lap, the fastest lap of anyone on a 38.0, which was 1.2 seconds quicker than Taruna.
Let's see this time around. Adianza is, I think, a bit too far in front for Stanley to have an opportunity into turn 1. He's showing his car in the mirrors. It's just a bit too far back to do anything. Jakkes Siswoyo in front is also still quite close to Rama Maulana. We've seen this happen quite a few times before, where Siswoyo just sits behind him for quite a long time, and then in the last few moments of the race really starts to attack.
Yes, as well as sitting there. We've seen it before where these guys don't always want to overtake each other straight away, because obviously as soon as you start battling, you start losing time, and at the moment they're pulling away nicely from Ardianza. So if they can get a little bit of a gap and maybe battle a bit later in the race, that could work well for them. But Siswoyo knows he wants this championship. He needs Maulana to finish further down, so actually he doesn't want that gap to increase, because he knows that Maulana needs to finish in pretty much 5th place to give him a good opportunity.
Indeed. Ooh, Siswoyo running a little bit wide there, almost touching the wall. We've seen it happen in the amateur race earlier today, where a few people touched the wall. Maulana going a little bit wide in the inside, or the first part of the final corner, but Siswoyo too far back, I think, once again to do anything coming into turn 1 here.
Yes, inside that final corner is being quite difficult for these drivers. Which is a bit expected with the style of corner it is and the style of car that we're racing is. Rakma is looking at the back of Kenzie in the background for 6th place as he gets close down the inside. Mackenzie's holding on pretty well. Mackenzie has dropped off the back of Taruna a little bit, who's getting away in 5th place. So Rakma now sees that. Doesn't want to let Taruna get too far ahead and is now on the attack. Mackenzie has to be careful, because if he gets overtaken by 1, there's another 3 or 4 drivers right behind him as Rakma now tries to go around the outside of turn 4 to give himself a good exit and a good line to potentially get the slipstream, but he lost a little bit too much time mid-corner.
Yeah, a lot of drivers here waiting for just a slight mistake from the drivers in front of him, and then they'll all jump into that opportunity and try and get the position, of course.
It's quite good to see that this this battle for the top 10, one place in the top 10 is going on really strong. Kenzie is really losing time now to Taruna though, so over 2 seconds the gap. So I think Taruna might be doing just enough there to hold on to that 5th place in the championship. So good job from him, because Kenzie really struggling here as he's got Rakmat all over the back of him, coming out onto the start finish straight. This might be enough for an overtake.
I think it will be. Rakmat will need some slipstream. He's getting some. Where's he going to go? Outside or inside? Outside. Inside is defended here by Kenzie. Hard on the brakes. And is he going to be able to get it around the outside? Next corner is going to be to the right. Gets pushed wide a little bit there by Kenzie. Aggressive defending. Kenzie's not giving up that position easily.
Yeah, this battling will be good. Mackenzie to hold on to the position, however, it's not going to be good for his 5th place. And now there's this huge train behind. They're all getting caught up on each other as well. So Rakma actually needs to be careful that he doesn't get overtaken by Iskander, but he's obviously then got Andrew and Stephen behind as well. So it's going to be quite tricky for these drivers to get the balance of attacking and defending correct. These top two battles of P1 and 2 with Maulanas as well, and then 3 and 4 with Ardians and Stanley. They are doing a good job of getting away from Taruna there in 5th place. However, they are staying fairly close together. Ardians is not really dropping off as well too much actually. In fact, he might be closing in just a little bit. But Stanley's very close this time. He is very close. Gonna have to be a dive on the brakes, but he's gonna have just enough slipstream to get a look down into turn 1. Can he do it on the brakes? It's gonna be quite tight, quite late, but no, not on this corner. So I guess we can exit.
No. Rahman also had another look at Kenzie, but ooh, here he goes up the inside of turn 3. Little bit of a bump there. Next corner is going to be to the left, and I think Rahman's been able to get that position out.
Will he pull away? As Kenzie, we've obviously seen, has lost a bit of pace from Taruna. Will he lose some pace to Rahman as well? I have to see, because Kenzie could be overtaken by quite a few drivers here if he starts to struggle on pace, as we already finished the first 10 minutes of this race. Kenzie could be a little bit in trouble here if he doesn't get back on pace and stay with Rahman.
Let's see what Jadwal will be able to do this time. No, it's a bit too far back once again. And I think the same is true for Ferris Stanley. Yeah, also too far back to do anything.
But Kenzie,
yeah.
He's defending now from his Iskander. And this battle is going to let Rahman get away. So, as I mentioned, Kenzie could start dropping down one by one as these drivers battle and try and get past him. So hopefully Kenzie can pick up, or at least for his sake, can pick up pace a little bit. But it is quite difficult because racing is often about momentum. And if someone starts dropping down, then maybe their confidence goes on the brakes and this sort of stuff, and then they get overtaken even more. Then you have the snowball effect. So hopefully that doesn't happen to a tyre. He's still looking good in 7th place, just needs to make sure he can stay on the back of Rahman.
Stanley close once again, hits the inside curve there a little bit too much perhaps. Trying to get closer and closer to Adianza. But Adianza is doing a great job so far. No mistakes from any drivers really at the front here. Jadwal is close at the end of the straight. Ferris Stanley is close at the end of the straight, but being close doesn't help them. They need to get past if they want to get the points to get this championship positions as well.
So as things stand, Maulana will obviously be the champion by 16 points, and then another 28 points back to Ferris Stanley. And then Rahman will be in 4th place on 70 points. Taruna will be in 5th place on 61. Kenzie will then have 54. So looks like Taruna will be able to hold on to that 5th place at this moment. You've got a 7-point gap as it stands. And Adianza will be in 7th place in the championship as well. So yeah, looking good for those guys. But that is at least how it stands for the moment. No real changes to the order. So once again, getting very close as Maulana drifts it a little bit, but they're both using a lot of input. And yes, as well, just that mid-corner, lost about a car length or so. That's just what makes it a bit difficult to stay close and follow down this soft straight. But Stanley, however, he's able to stay a lot closer to Adianza. But once again, it's going to have to be all on the brakes if he wants to do a dive to turn number 1.
Bit of brake locking by both of the drivers. Not going to help their tires get to the end of the race, of course. We don't expect anybody to do a pit stop. We've not seen anybody do this in the entirety of this championship, at least not successfully, or maybe also planned. So they have to be careful on those tires a little bit, otherwise at the end of the race they will start dropping like a stone through the field.
What is the pace drop off already? Yeah, we're already looking about 1.5, maybe 2 seconds for some drivers already of pace drop off, and this is only in the first 16 minutes of the race. So I believe by the end of the race we will be looking towards 4 seconds, maybe a lap slower, which does always beg the question: is someone going to make a pit stop? But it's quite difficult because you do lose quite a bit of time making a pit stop. And no one has done it so far this season. Well, actually, some people tried it in the first race of the season, but only 2 or 3, and it really didn't work. Especially these top guys, when they have things to lose, they've got positions to fight for. I doubt any of them are going to make a pit stop. But certainly, you would be very quick at the end of the race. It just depends if you have enough time to catch all the time back. So interesting, Kenzie in 7th place. He is not really under attack anymore from Iskander or Steven, but also Ragnar hasn't really got away. He's lost about a second, but it's become stable there. And at the same time, Ragnar is also still quite a way off Taruna, so that battle is sort of seized a little bit for now anyway. Mackenzie will, I think, eventually have to defend quite a bit from Iskander and Steven. Wonder if Stanley can do any sort of moves as well as Woe, because they're both in sort of the same position. But once again, Ardians is actually closing up a little bit, so if he is able to do that, that might help them towards the later parts of the race. Maybe Stanley sitting there and then not battling is actually going to help them.
Bit of a lock up there by Malana coming into turn 1. Perhaps the pressure starting to get to him, but I wouldn't expect so. He's very experienced throughout this entire championship, and of course also before that Timo Skandar, I think, has got a problem with Michael Steven, and also Kenzie in front of him. Ooh, it's very close between these 3 drivers for 6th place.
Yeah, they were getting really close there behind Kenzie. Once again, Kenzie needs to be quite careful with what he does. Well, at the end of this lap, we will be about halfway through the race, which means, yeah, we're looking at around a 23, maybe 24 lap race for these drivers. Kenzie having to defend, coming into turn number 7. He's holding on pretty well for now. So that Scanner's had a bit of a think there. Coming through turn 8, but yeah, not quite close enough to make anything work just yet. Scanner really is all over the back of Kenzie, and I do wonder if by the end of the race Kenzie will be behind these 2 drivers.
Yeah, we just passed the halfway mark of this race. So there's still quite a bit to go, of course, but Kenzie is under a lot of pressure. Has to defend for Iskander. Iskander to the outside of turn 1. Hard braking. Ooh, Stevens has a peak. Bit of contact there on the right rear tire of Timo Iskandar. Luckily, he didn't spin around. But that was very close to ending in disaster.
They gotta be very, very careful on the brakes when you're in a situation like that. When you're in a pack of 3, because obviously the person in the second place of the train will potentially have to brake a little bit early because of the car ahead of them, and the person in 3rd place needs to be careful and recognise that, otherwise he will be smashing into the back of him. Unfortunately, that ended up not in a bad situation. Yeah, these guys are starting to lap fairly slowly now. They're about over a second off the pace of the guys ahead of them. These guys are now well into the 1:41s, whereas the leaders are still on the mid to low 1-minute 40s. So quite a bit of pace drop off already from these guys. Already about 3 seconds off the pace for these guys, whereas about 2 seconds for the leaders.
So again, coming into turn 1. Iskandar, I think, a bit too far back. He's going to have a look though on the outside as Kenzie defends the inside. A lot more alongside this time around. Kenzie pushes him wide off the track though. That's going to allow Steven to get past into turn 2. Gonna get the position. Still on the outside, also gets bumped wide a little bit there. Turn 3 then. Still on the outside there, Iskandar. Next corner is going to be to the inside for Iskandar, so we'll have that corner. Gives a bump back to Steven there. And I think he's got the position back there. Yes, he has.
And nice battling here in this sector 1. Those couple of hairpins really allow you to go side by side. Even you can count turn 1 as a hairpin as well. So that sequence of corners all the way from turn 1 through the whole of sector 1 is so good. By Iskandar staying on top there. But that has let Kenzie get a few extra car lengths. Means the next lap or 2 will be quite comfortable for him. These guys start to battle.
Yeah, Kenzie's gotten a little bit of a resting break as Iskandar and Steven go head to head. Ooh, a lot of curb there by Iskandar. It's going to allow Steven to get close here.
Though that top speed from Iskandar is very good. Pulled away a little bit there, even after the corner. So Steven gonna need to get a better exit than that.
Stanley also still close to Arianza, but once again not really able to get past him for now.
It's quite interesting that these guys haven't been able to make much of a move just yet, with that being Suzuo and Stanley. But obviously that is the way of racing. When you get a couple of guys who are very matched on pace, it does become a little bit harder. And at this point in the middle of the race, it will be quite difficult. But by the end of the race, there should be potentially at least a major discrepancy in their tyre life, because often a few drivers use the tyres a little bit more than others, and that can always be a factor as you get towards the final 5 laps or so of the race. And we did have a Radita Indera DNF in the race, so that was 2 DNFs. So there's 20 drivers left out on the track.
Skandar's got back to Kenzie, by the way. Kenzie's under pressure once again. He had a bit of breathing room when Skandar and Steven were battling, but that's gone now.
Skandar's struggling a little bit more than some others to stay close, actually. This is where Stanley, they've kind of sat behind them, their rival for quite a while. Whereas Skander sort of dropped back and then got close and dropped back again. And Siswo now has actually dropped off a little bit from the front. At the line, he is about 7.5 tenths off. So really dropped off a little bit now. Hasn't been able to stay just in the real slipstream range. How did they not crash there? That was very good from both of them to manage to not crash there, but Iskander somehow finished that overtake to get past Kenzie. Now Steven's going to want to get involved as they go all over the place coming through turn number 3. And Kenzie needs to hit back straight away because he has the opportunity here. He's so close, but they've got to watch out for Steven behind them.
Will Steven get past Kenzie now, though?
Let's see if Kenzie can do the opposite on this lap and try and get Iskander back. But Iskander had a very, very good exit out of that final corner. But can Kenzie get close enough into this final corner, just like Iskander did on the previous lap? Or has Timo managed to defend himself enough on this lap? I think he has. I think Kenzie's a little bit too far behind to come back straight away. So yeah, Kenzie after that really good start, getting up to about 6th place, has been overtaken. And he's dropped off, well, even with the battling, he's dropped off about 12-13 seconds from Taruna, so hasn't quite got the same race pace as some guys around him, as Steven gets really close now.
Indeed, very close once again. Iskander goes a bit on the grass there. This battle between these two drivers is very close indeed. Iskander's half a second away from Kenzie now. Like we said, his pace is probably a bit faster than Kenzie. Just over 10 minutes to go in this race though, so if Steven wants to get past, he needs to get on with it. Not too much time left in this race.
They're already coming to the final 10 minutes of this race. And these guys now need to try and work out what they're going to do with their final moves. Danny's actually really close, coming to Ardianza down towards turn number 1. He's going to have a move here down the inside. This is the opportunity that he needs. This is the most far alongside he has been, coming to turn number 1. He's going to have to do it on the brakes as well. But Ardianza has a very good braking. Stanley, though, will get a good exit. He'll have the inside into turn 2. He needs to keep his car there. This is the opportunity he's been waiting for 30 minutes now. And he's finally made it through. Stanley goes up into 3rd place, and Ardianza now has to try and fight back, as that has taken him out of a potential podium place as he drops down there into 4th place. Nice move by Stanley. He was waiting patiently, and that was the opportunity he was waiting for. And now he needs to try and hold on for the final 9 minutes of this race.
Indeed, he has to. Doesn't really change a lot for the championship, as Ardianza is currently in 7th, so with Stanley being in 3rd, doesn't really change anything between the two. And also there's big gaps between P3 and P4 in the championship.
And if we were to finish in this order, that means we would have 5 out of the 6 races finishing with Maulana, Suswoyo, Stanley in that order on the podium, which is quite incredible considering we've had so many races with all these battles and all this, but it has always come down to the fact of Maulana winning with Suswoyo 2nd and Stanley in 3rd place. As we now come towards the final 8 minutes of the race, and Suswoyo is getting closer to Maulana once again, so maybe this is him turning the heat back on and trying to put a bit more pressure as we come to the final moments of the race. But a little bit further back, Iskander's pulled away from Kenzie, and Kenzie now is having to defend a little bit from Stephen as Kenzie struggled with the pace. I don't think Stephen's quite close enough this lap, or maybe on the next one he's certainly going to be looking at that 8th position.
Stephen goes a little bit wide there, loses some time to Kenzie.
Been an interesting race from Kenzie's perspective. And holding on to this 8th place would be quite nice for him. They're currently in 6th place. His best result is P5. So he's not going to be reaching that level today. Although it says to be nice if he could finish season without dropping another place.
Stephen very close to the back of Kenzie there. Almost hit him. Losing a lot of time to Iskander now. Iskander already almost 2.5 seconds in front of him now.
Oh, but he's gone wide. Kenzie has gone wide, so Stephen sent it down the inside of the final corner. Just like we saw Addis Putra, ironically, I believe in the same blue livery car. Made that mistake, but now Kenzie's getting the slipstream down towards turn number 1. Can Stephen hold on? Coming towards the final few laps of the race. I think there's going to be about 4 laps left of the race. Can Kenzie keep it down the inside into turn number 1? No, he can't. So he's lost that position. Stephen is up to P8. Nice move from him, but that is just what can happen if you make a mistake in that final corner.
Indeed. And I think it's going to be difficult for Kenzie now to keep with him. You already see how much time they've lost to Timo Iskander.
Kenzie might be able to fight back.
Suswoyo's dropped back quite a lot, by the way, now. Last lap he lost about half a second compared to Rama Maulana, so probably a bit of a mistake last time around by Suswoyo. With 5 minutes to go, I don't think there's going to be much changing in the championship here today for the pro class.
Yeah, stayed fairly stable, but it's once again the same top 3 in the same order. However, once again, it's not been a straightforward race. The guys have still been battling it out and somehow working their way towards this part, this order again. So So as it stands, it will be the same order, with Tarunic holding on for that 5th place. Kenzie will drop to 9 points behind him though. So Kenzie does really want to get this if he wants to stay a bit closer. However, I think Tarun is going to be finishing in 5th comfortably as we stand. Although he is getting closer towards Ardianza, but there's only a couple of laps left, so this is really just for pride for Kenzie, as he has struggled a little bit with the race pace today.
Interesting to see last lap, Ardianza did a 141.5, which is almost a second slower than anybody else in the top 5. Here we go, by the way, Kenzie on the inside of Steven on the back straight. We haven't seen this before today. He makes the move stick for now. Great job by Atai Kenzie there. Steven perhaps a little bit of a mistake on the exit of turn 5.
Nice move there by Kenzie to get that back, and as you said, it was for prize. You can see he's certainly going for it. A good job for him, keeping that in 8th place, but there's still a couple of laps to go, as Maulana is coming down now into turn number 1, so I believe, yeah, it'll be 2 laps to go, including this one, and he's pulled away quite a bit now from Siswo, with Ferris Stanley too far behind to challenge as well. But can Steven come back too far behind this time? But this lap could be used to set himself up for a move later on, maybe on this lap or the next one. But yeah, that's an interesting move by Kenzie, getting the slipstream down the back straight. As you say, there must have been a bit of a mistake there, because it's not the easiest straight to overtake on, as it's not the longest in the world and it does have the kink in the middle of it. Well, looking back to the front, Siswo can't stay with Maulana, so it looks like it is going to be Maulana taking the championship and those 20 million rupiah that come with it. However, I don't think Siswo will be too unhappy with the prize that he will get with 10 million rupiah, which is certainly still a nice prize for him. But I believe we will be having one more lap, as it's just going to go under a lap time remaining, which it just about is. So this will be starting the final lap of the race, the final lap of the championship for Maulana, and he just needs to hold on for one more lap to take victory and also the championship title. And look at this battle here for 10th place. Andrew, Edo and Haryanto all battling. Turn 9 is not the place you want to overtake, or at least battle into. They're almost touching on the exit. Now Edo's trying to get back side by side, coming towards the final couple of corners, as they will come on to start their final lap as well. Who is going to come out on top? These guys are so close. The slipstream is going to be huge for them. Coming towards turn number 1, currently Andrew in the blue car leading the way from Edo in the black and green car. Edo now goes to the outside. How good are his brakes coming into turn number 1? He's looking pretty good, but he has the outside line, which means Andrew is going to be able to just push him out. But this also means Haryanto now coming down the inside for turn number 2 potentially, but can't make that one work. Oh, Andrew goes wide though, so Edo's now going to drive it down the inside into turn number 3. This could give the opportunity for Haryanto as well if he can get the exit out of the corner. And they now go side by side into turn number 4. I'm going to have to look back at Maulana coming around the final couple of corners. This will be his championship and his 5th race victory in 6 races. He has dominated this championship despite the best efforts of Siswo and Stanley. He is going to take the championship, so congratulations to Andika Rama Maulana, your Honda Racing Simulator Championship for this season, followed by Siswo in 2nd place, Ferris Stanley in 3rd. That is the 5th time we've had that podium in that order this season, which is quite incredible. Those 3 guys have been the best so far. Ardianza gets his best result in 4th, Taruna in 5th place, Ragbat will come home in 6th place, Iskander 7th, Kenzie in 8th, but can he hold on to the line? Stephen's trying to slipstream him. Will Kenzie just have enough? I think he will. He will hold on for 8th place. Stephen in 9th. Edo managed to get past Andrew there for 10th place. Andrew, can he defend from Haryanto, who is going to get 11th place at the line? Haryanto is going to be very close, but I think Andrew will just about get that. That is going to be so close to the line. Yes, Andrew holds on. Haryanto in 12th place. Fires Ryan in 13th. Arik in 14th. And Iko Ahmed will get the final point if he can hold on from Fikri Azkar. So once again, a little slipstream to the line. Who is going to get the final point? It is just going to be Ahmed. So Fikri Azkar misses out, but Felix Maulana is the champion, and we have to say that is thoroughly deserved from him. He has been the class of the field this season.
He definitely has been, and here we've got the podium for today's race. Andika Rama Maulana once again winning 2nd place, once again Jaka Siswoyo, and 3rd place once again Ferris Stanley. What a championship it has been, and Andika Rama Maulana really showing that he was the quickest here once again today.
Yeah, really good job. Really good job from him. And hopefully we'll be able to get an interview with these 3 drivers. That'll be good to hear from them. And yeah, obviously they are winning the wonderful prize pool as well. So that would be really nice for them. 20 million rupiah plus a trophy for Maulana, then 10 million plus a trophy for Siswo. Ferris standing in 3rd place gets 8 million. Well, we must not also forget 4th place in the championship will be Rahmat, and 5th place will be Taruna, who win 6.5 and 5.5 million each. So yeah, once again, thank you to Honda Prospect Motor and also HM Engineering for putting on this event and getting those nice prices for those guys. But yeah, we will try and get the top 3 in for an interview in a moment. And then that will be how it goes for this championship here. Maulana as well is definitely the top 2 guys. Ferris Stanley couldn't quite hold on for that. For getting a better position, but certainly a good season for him in 3rd place.
Most definitely. Let's have a quick peek then once again at the entire results. As you can see here, final race of the season, and those are your top 10 finishers.
So Maulana won the race from Siswo and Ferris Stanley, as expected, the 5th time in the 6 races that they finished in that order. And those 3 drivers finished on the podium every single race. And then Ardianza in 4th place, Taruna in 5th, Rahmat in 6th, Iskander 7th, Kenzie 8th, Stephen in 9th, and Edo in 10th. However, we have Andika for a interview, so we will drag him in and we will get some words with your Pro Class champion in just 2 seconds.
Congrats, everyone.
Andika, congratulations. You are the Pro Class champion. You win 20 million rupiah and a trophy. How does that feel?
Oh my god, thanks so much, Cameron. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good race today. You won 5 races this season. And
yes.
You had a fairly comfortable race today, but you did have a bit of challenge from Yaka. How was that?
I think at first I'm trying to push to get the fastest lap at second lap, but unfortunately got taken by Ferris by 2/10. And then after that, I need to restuff my tires because I used my tires quite a bit too much on the second lap. And then for like, I think maybe 10 laps after that, I not struggling, but just reserving my tires. So it's the tire wear is not going too much, and Jaka also keep pressuring me. But I think both of us, Jaka and me, really have need to save play to reserve the tires and wait until the last few minutes to attack, but yeah, unfortunately my tires I think better than Jaka. So like past last 5 laps, I gained I think I don't know how many seconds between me and Jaka, but yeah, I think it's invisible pressure from Jaka. He didn't attack me, but he surely keep behind my mirror. So okay, so yeah, so I need to like something like that.
So, yeah, certainly congratulations for this season. You did really well. You, Yaka and Ferris got on the podium every single race. Did you enjoy the Honda Civic car that you had to drive for this championship?
I think this car is it's like a hate and love relationship with this car. At first at Suzuka, I struggle a lot with this car setup. I think I don't know how this car setup works, but after 6 rounds, it's going to more comfortable, and I know what to adjust at this car to suit my preference. But so in the end, yeah, I kind of love it for the cars.
Oh, you certainly did a good job. So congratulations once again, and
Thanks,
yeah, hopefully
Emre.
you enjoy your prizes as well. So so yeah, congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
And we also have Ferris Stanley, and Ferris, you did a very good job this season. Unfortunately, third place seemed to be your most common position, but still a very good job, and you get some nice prizes as well. So how was that race for you?
Oh yeah, it's really fun. But got bad quality because I cannot really do this car completely. But yeah, I think all comes down to race pace. So just keep it clean, and yeah, as long as keep it clean, race pace is consistent, then yeah, it's very fun, and I'm very happy with the result though.
And especially in the last 2 races, you had to make quite a few overtakes to get back on the podium. So was that quite fun?
Yeah, quite fun. At the same time, it's kind of annoyed by someone too. Like got bad start at the first lap, and then I have to drop it and have to fight for the first 20 minutes. So yeah, but it's quite fun, obviously.
So obviously in third place you get 8 million rupiah and a nice trophy as well. So hopefully you enjoy those prizes. But well done for this season, and maybe if there's another one in the future, you could get maybe a bit further up and maybe get that championship. So yeah, good luck for the future.
Yeah, cheers, Cameron.
No worries. Well, Felix, seems like we don't have Yaka is ready to come for an interview. But either way, it's been certainly a very good season to round out with a race like that. And it's certainly nice to get a couple of words from those. But yeah, once again, thank you to Honda, Prospect Motor, and HM Engineering for offering those prizes. But Felix, it has been a very good season.
It definitely has been a very good season. We've seen some amazing races in both the amateur and the pro championship. Of course, perhaps a little bit dull at the front sometimes, as we've said already 5 times in a row, where the top 3 was pretty much the same, or was the same, not pretty much, it was the exact same. We've seen great racing, for sure. Perhaps not always at the front, but it's definitely been exciting, and a lot of tension between those top 3 drivers, because they have always been close. It's not like somebody just ran away with it easily by a 50-second gap or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was only the first race of the season where the gap was about 10 seconds. But apart from that, it was very close. And even though we had the same podium quite a few times, it was always the race always changed quite a lot with how it got there. And there was obviously quite a good selection of circuits as well. But I think that, yeah, pretty much rounds up this championship. So, yeah, Honda Racing Simulator Championship has now concluded. That is the final race of the season, and it is done and dusted. But who knows what is going to happen in the future, and what Honda and HM Engineering may or may not do in the future. So we'll have to see and wait for the outcome of that. But it's certainly been a good championship and a good race to finish off there in Portugal. But that is it for this season, and until the next one, we wish you a very warm goodbye.
Yeah, also just a side note for everybody watching, So there will be a awarding ceremony that will be on the Honda Izmi social media. So just keep an eye out for that. If you want to see the awarding ceremony, I guess that will be coming in the next few days, perhaps already today. I'm not sure exactly, but of course, also from me and everybody else behind the scenes, a very warm goodbye.